really liked it. I clicked it. There you go.
Oh, you've never really liked it? What did no?
Deadpool. Wait. I've never read one that it was like, yeah, that's awesome.
And
Maybe I haven't read the right one.
This is Comic Burrito. As you can tell, we might be missing Todd, so we're not up to shape in how we do our intros. Nick's just clicking buttons. And I'm Cole.
And I'm Nick.
And this is This Week in Comics.
This Week in Comics.
Yeah. Wow, that was cool.
We flipped it.
Yeah.
We flipped it.
That's for you. Yeah. That's for you, the fans.
That's just for everybody because Todd's gone. We thought we'd spice it up a little bit.
Todd's a little under the weather, so we're going to be missing some of our cool effects that we normally have.
Todd is feeling better, but just it's like today he felt better, so we're going to give him the day, and then we'll have a good show on Saturday. And then I'm going to mention it a few times. People are probably going to get really sick of me, but in however many hours or in a week, we will have the Rodney Barnes.
We will
here. To talk about all things Rodney Barnes. And I feel like there might be like a Blade announcement of some kind. Maybe. I'm just hoping. Who knows? It could happen. Maybe
the email he just said was prepare for the biggest announcement you'll ever see, but maybe I just wrote those and signed them with his name to us from us.
Maybe, maybe you created your own Gmail account. I don't know.
Hey, Sam. What's up, Sam? Thanks for showing up. Flash Ray. We're about ready to do this.
Nobody's late.
Yeah. Who was late today? No one, actually. I think we actually started right at 9, if I'm pretty sure.
I clicked it. I saw 9 o'clock on the clock.
This week in comics. Hey, Wes.
Rodney, you know what Rodney. You know who we're talking about. So, he'll be here in 7 days. It'll be a Wednesday interview, which isn't something that we normally do, but it's something that we are definitely willing to do for somebody like Rodney Barnes. I'm really excited. I mean, we've had some really cool people on our show, but I feel like Rodney Barnes is like that level up that we haven't really gotten yet.
I mean, he's written for the big two. And that'll be cool to talk to somebody. I mean, I guess David Pepos did some editing for the big two when he worked at, I think he was an intern at DC for a while. So
I read Falcon over the past couple of days, and I had not read that before because I want to try to read all his comics before we have him on. And since I hadn't read that, I checked it out. It's really good.
Yeah, I need to check that out.
It's really good, man. It's not at all what I expected from a Falcon comic. There's like crazy like Satan hell stuff involved, and it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. But I really liked it. Sweet. I really liked it.
Yeah, we're crossing our fingers that he didn't hear us say that.
Oh, Stoney knows I love him. It's okay. And Stoney, I hope your family's doing really well.
Yeah.
So we don't have like a super.
We're just probably gonna talk. When it's just the two of us, we try to read
just the two of us
different stuff so that we have enough to talk about without. We have one book that over crosses, so maybe we just start with that one.
Wes, I have read his Lando book, and it is awesome. Yes. Yeah, and yes, Flash Ray, Falcon, as in Falcon and Winter Soldier. It's that Falcon. Yes, Marvel. Yep. I read a Marvel book. Okay, what book? Sorry,
we both read Crossover. I'm pretty sure.
Yes.
This is in comic. If you did not know, writer is Donny Cates, art by Jeff Shaw, colors by D. Kniffy, and letters and design by John J. Hill. Crossover.
Is Kniffy just knife? Is it knife?
It's spelled Cunniffee.
The way you pronounce his last name is how my kids pronounce knife.
My wife's grandfather calls it a narf.
A narf.
And I don't understand that, but if you ever hear me say the word narf, I'm talking about a knife.
A narf. Got it.
Yeah, crossover.
So when somebody's when Whack is like, he's going to north.
Yeah. Also, hey Nat.
We talked about crossover too a little bit in our Discord today.
Hey, Jared, hopefully you didn't hear us talking earlier.
Jared, we love you too. And Dryfoot is an excellent book, and I expect to see Jared's name on a Big 2 book. All those guys, really. But yeah, Crossover 2 was really good. I liked issue 1 more overall, but I think issue 2 had more substance, and I really like where the book is going, because with issue 1, I kind of didn't feel like I knew where the book was going. I just liked that it was a thing. With this one, it's like, okay.
There's like, you get to see kind of where the like people are held, and I definitely noticed there was a Batman in there. There was a Wonder Woman in there, and there was a Captain Cold. I tried to look at some of the others because you just see gloves, and obviously with Batman you've got those, and with Wonder Woman you got a lasso. But yeah, I would just say that if you read this book,
there's a prison. Yeah.
Look at that scene and see if you can find other people. If you noticed anyone I could not, leave a comment. I'm sure there's some that are pretty easy. It's just those were the ones that rang out to me while I read this book. I mean, I spent, an extra probably 35 seconds looking inside.
I didn't even notice, and Batman is like so obvious, and I didn't even notice that. There's probably a whole layer to this book that I'm not even realizing, and it's like little Easter eggs and stuff like that, and I still really like the book.
Yeah,
and I think it's a great comic book. If you're just a fan of comic books, I think you're gonna really like Crossover.
Yeah,
and if you're not, it'll probably still be a good enough story to carry it to be, worth reading, at least.
What you mean by this? He's saying of people that he has seen in the book. Oh, that'd be really cool. Yeah, I would definitely be. Yeah. Oh, and he's saying Spider-Man and the Thing too. Maybe I didn't notice those as much, but yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I think you read more besides that.
Yeah, I can get this one out of the way. Dark Knight's Death Metal, the last stories of the DC universe. It's
big.
It's big. It's $7, I think.
$8.99.
$8.99. If you're not like super into metal, I wouldn't buy this. If you're not like buying all things metal, I don't think this is worth it. There's a really good Jeff Lemire story in here for Green Lantern that I wish Todd was here. I think Todd's gonna like it as a Green Lantern fan. It's a Hal story, and there's that are good, but overall, this is one of the least favorite metal books. Still good. But for $9, if you're not gotta buy all the metal, I'd save that $9 and get some.
Would you say that the Multiverse That Laughs is better than this one?
I think that the Green Lantern story alone is like both of those. But they're close. I'd say that. But there's one or two stories in this one that might be overall better. But I also felt like there was kind of a lot of duds that didn't resonate with me. Maybe, I don't know. There's been so much. I've been oversaturated by it but it's also strung out over. I feel like even with Metal, the first one, I had to go back and reread. By the end of it, I had no idea even what the hell was going on.
Yeah.
I feel like with a fresh reread of everything all together is always fair for these, crazy big things. But yeah, that one, if you're not buying all of them, I don't. It's definitely not worth it. It's like the backstory for the backstories. It really is.
Yeah. It seems like we have two people that agree. Well, Flashlight at least thinks that the Multiverse That Laughs was the worst, and Wes also thinks this is better. I just read the word God there, and then assumed.
Like I said, I'd have to reread Multiverse That Laughs to know for sure, but I don't really want to do that either. So
yeah.
When I reread maybe when I reread it all together, I could say, but I don't really like dwelling on the book that I liked the least of a series. I kind of always like dwelling on what I liked the most about it. So it's something that I probably won't get a lot of rereads, and that's why for, like I said, for $9, it's like, man. But that if you love Hal Jordan for some reason, a few of the other sub characters in this, if you love like Teen Titans, and that kind of stuff, if you really love that and love death metal verse, it might be worth picking up. I'll give it that.
I'm sorry, it's growing back. Eventually it'll be here.
It's coming.
I read this book.
Oh, I'm not pulling that. Is it good?
Together. This is issue 3. It's Image Comics.
That's of 4, right?
I have no idea.
4 or 5, I think.
Maybe. It's got 2 writers. It's Sina Grace and Omar Shapai. Sorry, I'm bad at names. The artist is Jenny D. Fine and also Sina Grace. Colors by MX Strube, and then letters by Shane Kanat. So have you ever read, what's that book? Giant Days.
Giant Days. I don't think so.
Giant Days is about 3 girls. I think they're in the UK. They might be in Canada.
It's a comic?
College. Yeah, and it's one of the first Boom books. I think it's one of the first Boom books I've ever read. But that book like excels at dialogue, and I think this book does a really good job of doing dialogue too. So it kind of, the main theme of this is there is a guy, his best friend, and the guy dates the best friend's sister. They kind of break up in the first issue, and it's just this weird like triangle between the 3 of these characters. It does dialogue really good. I mean, this episode or issue, they just kind of like do Molly at a concert, and like like I don't know if you're into that, like maybe the conversation of it makes a little bit more sense. I was maybe a little bit lost as a middle-aged guy that doesn't do Molly.
You don't do Molly? You're not on Molly right now?
No. But yeah, I mean, but still, I think this book, like the one thing that it really excels at is like it has very good dialogue in it. So if you're looking for a very dialogue-driven book, the original cover was like a Friends.
I'm more dialogue-driven than I am narrative. Which there was an Aquaman story in this that's all narrative, and like it's 95% narrative, and I'm just like, oh my god.
yeah. I mean, it's just kind of like
Friends that had people.
Oh yeah, Friends. If it had people of color or people are queer and people of color.
Okay. Yeah. Well, they had the Friends cover for number 1.
Yeah.
Like I almost bought that just because I'm not even like a fan of Friends. I've never binged it. I've seen a few episodes here or there. But I've never really watched that show. It's never really appealed to me. I'm sure someday I'll watch it and be like, this is my favorite thing. But I've never watched it. So I'm like, I want to buy this cover because it's like a Friends homage cover. But at the same point, I'm like, I don't like Friends. So why? Like it's
yeah.
But I find myself doing that all the time.
I knew that there were a lot of people that were talking about how good the dialogue is. This has been a book that I've been picking up off this shelf, but I've been getting every week. Like when it was between, like Jared might be mad because it was a book that he said that we should be talking about. But when it was between, Homesick Pilots and this and that new Aftershock large book, this was the one of those that I picked up just because I'm already invested in it a little bit. And I think the dialogue's pretty good between the characters. Yes.
Yeah, it's a good transition to that. I was going to do a different book, but since we mentioned it, Piecemeal,
Aftershock,
Cullen Bunn and Seisman Kudgrinsky. I got it because I looked it up, and like the very first thing I read about it, or the very first and only thing I read about it was like, this is a classic Cullen Bunn horror story. If that's your thing, you want it. And I was like, all right, I'll try it because I love Dark Arc. And I haven't read a lot of his other stuff, but I got this, and it's really cool, but I feel like it's something that I'm going to need to read a couple times.
And that's a one shot, right?
It's a one shot. So $7. If you're between this and this, especially like to save the couple bucks, this is a better book for sure.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of one of the reasons why I gravitated towards the other one is at the price.
Yeah, and it's a classic like horror, haunted house, crazy, weird visual stuff, and I mean, there's like dreams, but are they not dreams? And it's kind of like I said, it there wasn't a time where it was just like, oh my god, this is like one of my new favorite things, but it was very good. So if that's one of your things, if you're on the fence about it, then yeah, I'd probably check it out. But
I didn't.
The art is super good.
This. Nat says she thought it seemed like an insta buy for me. I don't. So I mean, like, to be completely honest, I haven't read too much Cullen Bunn. Nick and I were actually looking through his like catalog, and like there was the one book that he did that was like I want to say it was like King Arthur, but zombies for Aftershock. I got the first issue of that, and I read Deadpool Kills the Marvel Universe. So
I love my DC books that I guess DC calls it Prestige Plus. No, Prestige. They call it Prestige Plus. Everyone else calls it Prestige. DC, this size is Prestige.
Oh,
and because I asked Don about that today. I'm like, because I was gonna get Batman Black and White because they said it's Prestige size, and I buy all DC books that are this size. And he said, no, that's Prestige Plus.
I didn't want to get that book, but I saw this cover and I could not
get
peach. Not get this cover.
I almost did. I went with a couple other things today, but I almost got it. If it was this size, if it was the Prestige Plus, I would have it.
Yeah, because I knew you said these are the Prestige. So
I love these books. I love these books. If all comics were this size, I would buy them because it's just I don't know. Maybe I'm old and my eyes are bad, but I love the extra space that you get in them. For certain stories, I guess some stuff might not be worth presenting that way.
Yeah.
But like I'm just thinking like if Descender and Ascender came.
The only thing is though it might take away on some of the like I don't know. I don't really know what I'm talking about. But yeah.
But it could. Yeah, no,
it could be better. You're right. There could be like double the art. And by double it'd really be like a third extra art, but still that's still dope.
And for some books, it definitely wouldn't be worth it, especially with extra cost. It wouldn't carry it. But some like one shots and stuff like that, I don't know. I like them. I know some people don't like the different size, and it's hard to store them and stuff.
Yeah, I bought a box. I have one box of like the magazine size, so I'm not in problem. But I also read this.
I put them on my shelf. Ooh, that was my drop. That was one of my drops this week.
So this is Year Zero, Volume 2, Issue 2. This is AWA Upshots. Benjamin Percy writing. Juan Jose Rip is the artist. Color Frank Martin Jr. and World Designs on letter. So if you watched us talk about this book throughout the first volume, there was a lot of mention of Bunker Guy. I think my new character that I'm gravitating toward, I'm calling her Supermarket Lady. There is a reveal in this book about her that I need to go back and read the first issue to see if there was something that I missed. Yeah.
Okay. Not of the first one. Because that's Year Zero. They're holding on to issue 1 for me just in case it's hard to find. But like if volume 2 doesn't end up tying in with volume 1, then I'm out. But if like issue 3 or 4, that's what I'm kind of waiting for. If issue 3 or 4, you guys are like, oh shit, it went back, then I'll grab them all.
I'm guessing that they might have mild apperances, but I would guess
nothing big, right?
Not until 3.
How do you drop such a small mini series just a big week?
Just cutting.
Yeah, just cutting. That's all it really is. I got to cut down. I'd like to get back to like 5 books a week. That's where that's like where I feel safe.
The comfort zone.
Yeah, that's like. Yeah, that's like 5 or less would be really good, and that includes like 1 or 2 of them being more than $3.99. If I could get to that as my average again, then I feel like I'd be good. And all it is really I have to cut out Big 2 stuff. That's going to be financially wise what I have to do. I have to cut out DC and Marvel because I pay for the digital subscriptions, and I can read them a little bit later, and it's fine.
Yeah.
I
feel like
the indie
Marvel
stuff
right
I
now
like
is
betting
the
anyways.
easier pull. Like to want to like not have to pull because 3 months is a lot better than
and
6
DC
months.
will follow them soon.
Yeah,
When
maybe.
I read 5 books a week, I would die. But I'm not gonna only read 5 books. Like I'm right now, I'm trying to read Invincible, and I'm trying to read. I have to go through
utilizing trades, utilizing old books. Yeah,
like this week, really like starting tomorrow. I would really like to read all of this, and that's just a lot of paper right there.
Yeah,
but year 3 came in today, and that's a big boy.
Which that reminds me, I need to grab that. Maybe I should have my wife get me that for Christmas.
Yeah, that's a big boy. And then like I'd love to go through that again. I got 3 in of that today, so just big stacks. And I'm still waiting on number 1, but I have the first 2 trades, so technically I could binge this as well.
Yeah, or you could get the Hoopla. I think Hoopla has the big hard ones.
Do they? I have 1 and 2, and I think that's what I think the big hard is 2 trades, I believe. So yeah, I'm definitely reading way more than 5, but buying floppies wise, I'd like to be around 5. Anyways, I'll go 7 Secrets because I feel like I've been pushing this book harder than I definitely think I like it. You're not even pulling it, are you?
No, I dropped it after issue 1 just because I knew that you guys liked it so much, and that like I think the way
you liked it, so you're like, I'm out.
No, like I knew what you guys liked about it, and I know what I didn't like about it, and I knew that this book was probably going to be that where I'm going to just want to read this in one sitting, and like this was the first time that I think I've made the logical choice of like let's trade weight this because I'll enjoy it better. Where like I probably should have done the same thing with Wind, but. Hey, whatever. I read the book and I have it. Like I'm starting to try and cut down on stuff, and this is like the first logical decision I made with that. So
it's fair. I would have dropped Firepower, but that's me.
I mean, I'm enjoying that a lot more. That comes to the top of the stack. I knew that would be bottom for me every time.
This issue is maybe not my favorite of them. Like I read this one. I think this was my first read of the day, and I got done, and it was like. Okay. I mean, it sure. We progressed a little bit. We set up a little bit. I definitely think this is number 5. I definitely think number 4 was like a huge issue. Lots of revelations in a secretive book. Where this one was like, okay, we kind of threw some pieces in the air. We're putting a few together. So because I'm guessing 6 is going to be the end of this arc. So it makes sense. It's fine. It was good. If you're like me and still pulling it, you probably liked it. If you're like Cole and you dropped it, then you didn't read it and didn't notice. Hey, Aaron.
Yeah. I mean, and I don't know. Like I think you guys two both like Tom Taylor a little bit more as a writer than I do. And I don't necessarily think Tom Taylor's like a bad writer. He's just not a guy that like gets me like, oh my gosh, I love this guy. But that's why
I love his humor, and I love he has some quick pace to him. I like he kind of like just plays with his characters a little bit, and you never really know. Like with Injustice, my thing with him is that you never know exactly like where he's gonna go with it. It can just kind of go. You can think that the story is going this way, and then all of a sudden he zags, and I don't know. It's like when he does just those little things, I always find myself just being like, yeah, nice. There he goes again, you know. So I like that book, but I can definitely see why some people might.
I've heard a lot of good about Suicide Squad, and I plan on checking it out eventually. I'll probably wait till that one gets all on DCU.
Same. Yeah.
Speaking of Suicide Squad, what do you know about Venom number 31?
Absolutely nothing about Venom, most anything.
Yeah, so this is a Marvel book, obviously. It is another Donny Cates book. Artist is Ivan Coella, colorist Jesse Arbutov, and letters by Clayton Cowles. I mean, this is a King in Black tie-in issue, I guess. Tom Taylor's, I mean, I think a lot of people really like him. And done good.
I think he definitely is somebody that if you really like, then you don't like Tom Taylor. You either love Tom Taylor or you're like you, where it's like, it's fine. It's fair. Anyway, so Venom.
Yeah, it's hard for me to like know if this is a good issue or not because I've read like I read the first trade of Venom, and I read issue 25 because that was in that Null book. This was I think it was a great tie-in to like the King in Black. Like I read the King in Black, I read this, I know what's happening. This is continuous story going on. And yeah, so apparently it is like one of the main tie-ins to it. I mean, it seems weird that this would be considered like a tie-in book to that, because if you're just reading King in Black, I mean, I guess they can kind of give you like, here's the 5-second pitch of what happened in this issue, but this seems very big in the story, I guess, of King in Black. I don't know. I'm liking it. You know, I guess it's a different pace from what we've seen in DC. But I mean, it's fun. It's big. It's different, I guess. The only thing I'll say in this book that I noticed different than King in Black is like, and I guess I haven't seen much of Null, so maybe this is a thing. He looks a lot different in this issue, and maybe that's just an artist, but maybe that's just a thing that he does. Like he had this really like long face going on where you're like, I don't know if that's like a thing, and I don't also know that much about Null either, so who knows, maybe that's a thing he does.
Maybe
But yeah, I think King in Black is going to probably be at least enjoyable for me at worst. So
I feel like it's one of those things, even with like Carnage and like Road to Carnage or whatever. I tried to get into that, and it was I thought it was going to be like an easy undertaking because I found a list on Marvel Unlimited that was like Road 2, and it was like, okay, and it was like, yeah, like these 12 things, and it was like, oh,
each of them are like a trade,
but each 12 things, some of them were more than a trade. It was like, oh, you need these like 3 arcs of this, and it was like, oh my god, all right, well, this is a huge undertaking, which I don't mind doing, but there's just other stuff right now that I'd rather read, and that's usually the case with Marvel. Like I don't know, people keep hitting me on Twitter about Marvel and stuff every once in a while, and it's like I like Marvel, it's just there's just other stuff, it's like the bottom of the pile, like but it's still stuff I really like, it's just not stuff that I just have to have.
Yeah, and I think the way you've described the app itself sounds like it's like not as like DC universe. You can just be like, I want to read this story, and it'll bloop bloop. Here's that story. So
the app is fantastic. The Marvel app, if you have where is it? No, I don't have it. If you have like an Amazon Kindle Fire,
yeah,
or an actual tablet, or your phone. The Marvel Universe app is Marvel. No, it's not Marvel Unlimited. Marvel Unlimited app is really, really good. The problem is with my Surface Pro, or if you're going to read on your computer or web, it is god awful. It is so bad. And DC does have some better and more reading lists. But otherwise, and DC has a better resolution. But otherwise, I actually kind of like the Marvel app a little bit better.
Interesting.
But, and yeah, I have less technical issues with it, and it's also $69 a year, which nice.
Yeah. $5 cheaper is why it's saying it's nice.
Yeah, it's $5 cheaper, and that's why it's nice. And there's nothing else. Yeah, but anyways, I like Marvel books too. It's okay.
Yeah.
I'm more invested in DC because that's what I grew up on. Speaking of growing up and children and things, Scarant Hood number 2 came out, which is from IDW, Nick Roche and Chris O'Halloran from Ice Cream Man. I didn't like it as much as issue 1, but it's still really, really good, and it's one of my actually favorite books of the year so far, despite the writing being like not my favorite.
Irish dialect, you mean?
Yeah, it seems at times like it's bad dialogue, for lack of better term. It seems like it's bad dialogue, but I don't think it is.
Yeah, I think it's just like a language. Like, I mean, even though it's English, I think it's like the use.
And it's often with the kids and how the children speak, which, like I said, I don't think is fair because maybe it's super accurate in Ireland or in just those communities and stuff. In either way, there's still some stuff that I really like, and I love this book being a horror book that has like the like when you're watching a horror movie and it has like the false jump scares. They're so good in this book where you turn the like it's a page turn thing and you're like but and then it's nothing. Like it's not the actual thing. Like it has just that slow burn to it that I just really like. It's my second favorite of the IDW because I don't pull it. Sea of Sorrows number 2, which we got a little early look at. I maybe liked a little bit more, but I really dig. I'm only pulling 2 IDW books, and they're really
they're both good. Yeah, I
They're
don't know.
really
I
good.
have another one.
I don't.
Yeah,
that
was one of the books I was definitely bummed when you were like, "I'm going to read this," and I was like, "I guess I'm not going to." But the hard thing is, like, the good thing for me is,
I think you'll grab the trade. You'll grab.
No, I already have it. I just didn't read it before here because I knew you were reading it.
Gotcha.
To, like, make it so that we had enough to talk about. I think the hard thing, like the one thing I did know too, is with that book, the way that the dialogue is, because it's in that like the different dialect kind of. It takes me a little bit longer to read it, so maybe that was helpful because I did not have enough time to read books as much as I thought I could today.
Yeah. Yeah, and if you had a huge problem with the dialect in number 1, it's not as bad in number 2.
And like that's the thing. I mean, I've read books like The Boys too, where that's pretty big, and I've kind of, I've watched enough random like UK TV to be able to figure most of it out.
Sam, it's really good, and I talked to Rich on Twitter because he sent me number 2, and he was like, just wait until number 3.
Nice.
He was like, oh my god, like shit gets crazy.
I still need to check out number 2, but it's like almost like, do I want to wait until the actual issue comes out?
No, I couldn't anymore, and I think that's why he sent me number 2, because I was bitching on Twitter about how I know I'm complaining about getting a book early. I know, but we got that book. We got Sea of Sorrows 1.
It came out in early October.
Yeah. But we got it like a month or 2 early. Like we had it so early.
Yeah.
And it was awesome. And it's like, I just want number 2. And finally I was like, I need number 2. And then it was just like that little like bloop. It's like, hey man, like here you go. And then wait. And then he was like, just wait until you see where this is going. Cause it's just, he said he had some panels from the artist, which I don't know who it is off the hand.
Alex something. I only know because he was actually, if you guys check out Just a Rican in his comics, he does a show on Tuesday, Lame or Frame. He had Alex on actually drawing Star Wars characters.
That's so cool.
The thing is, they draw pictures in 2 minutes, show them, you vote on the best one. That guy, man, it was cool to see him do some of those Star Wars characters.
Yeah, no, it's cool. I like that book a lot, but Scarant Hood also I mean, as a parent and stuff, it's
that first issue, like it gets into you, and you just like it's nightmare.
That's what I told Nick. I'm like, there's just panels of like it's single dad stuff, which I'm not single dad, but I'm dad with 4 kids. Like they outnumber us, so I can. And there's times that, Jesse goes away to Florida for a week or something. And I'm, not saying I understand what it's like to be a single dad, because I definitely don't. But maybe I can have a little bit of empathy.
Oh yeah. I mean, and even being parents in a team, there are certain things about having children that are just scary, and it's like reading the book through, and you're like, it's like I got anxious, like my anxiety like spiked reading the book, where it was just like, oh my god. So yeah, it's cool, and it's good setup. I don't know how many that's gonna be, but I don't know. I thought it was 4 or 5, but maybe I made
4 or 5. It's a shorter run. That seems right. I have one more. How many do you have?
I do too.
One
more, and this would probably be if I picked a favorite this week.
My favorite would have been Crossover too.
This is DC Black Label. It is art and writing by Jeff Lemire, and the colors are Jose Villarrubia. It's weird because like the last time we talked about this, I was like, I have no idea. Like with issue 1, I have no idea what this is about. I think later on, after we stopped, you like read the description. And it's like, this is an Elseworld version of Sweet Tooth.
I haven't read Sweet Tooth yet, so I don't.
Yeah. Well, I think you read the synopsis of issue 1, and that's what you said. And I was like, oh, that makes more sense. And because of that, I'm like having a lot more enjoyment into this book. It's very fun. I mean,
I also have 2 cats.
Yeah.
I have 4 kids, 2 cats, a dog, and a fish tank.
And some Ninja Turtles.
And some Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, I don't think you need to like read Sweet Tooth to enjoy this, but I would recommend reading Sweet Tooth before reading this. And like that being said, I read whatever, I think it's 40 issues of it in a weekend before this issue came out, just so that I could read it and not feel bad about it.
Yeah.
Which, a logical person would probably not pull it. I read the first big hardcover volume of Sweet Tooth and then kind of forgot about it. Like it was really, I really enjoyed it actually rereading it. It'd probably be top 5 books. In Jeff Lemire's catalog for me. I might maybe like it more than Descender, but.
Wow.
I think you have a more of affinity to that book too than I do.
I mean, but I've said before too that Descender, I'll admit, has, I don't know if there's a term for like short-term nostalgia, because it was only like 3 years ago that I read Descender, but that was my first like, hey Nick, this isn't a comic book about Batman book kind of thing, where it was just like, oh, comics can be so much more than just Batman and Superman and Spider-Man stuff. Like these are like legitimate stories, and not that the others aren't legitimate, but just different things. So Descender has that, but yeah, Sweet Tooth was one that was hard to pass up because I love Jeff's writing. So he's probably my favorite writer, and I've kind of had I started a rule of like, if his name is on it, I buy it. And then like 6 months later, I'm like, I can't afford this. Like this guy writes, maybe
1 week I remember it was when Royal City was coming out. He had 3 books on 3 different labels because he was coming out with the Terrifics, he was coming out with Royal City, and there was some sort of a Black Hammer book. And it was 1 week. I just remember looking it down and being like,
now he has
3 books by him,
2 Black Hammer books, and then all like stuff like
Sweet Tooth. He's got Ascender,
Unbreaker, or what was it?
Berserker Unbound.
Berserker Unbound. And he has all like books like that just pop up out of nowhere. That is Family Tree and Gideon Falls, and it's just like, oh, like this dude just writes.
Which, man, I like to side tangent. I just read like the first 2 trades of Gideon Fall. I forgot how much like this is a book I've been pulling and I've been reading in single issues, but like I'm so glad that the guys from Lost in Comics, I think it's Chris, I don't know, one of them is posting that they're following it so that they can read 1 issue a day. I was just like, I'm going after it.
Yeah.
I do that book, that first trade is so good. The only thing I didn't like, my only thing I'm upset about is that the other issues after the first trade are very quick reads. Just because it's more driven into the art and less into the dialogue, where that first trade takes longer to read. That's not a bad thing necessarily. Gideon Falls.
Oh, yeah.
That first one just is like a lot of like, here's the world, and then it's just like, here's a bunch of craziness. Enjoy these crazy panels.
Yeah, I have the first 3 trades, and I'm trying to decide now if I want to buy the 4th and I believe 5th and final trade. I think there's going to be 5 total. Or if I want to wait for hardcovers, which they don't have one.
There's going to be 5 trades, but
5 trades?
To buy that final issue.
Okay, yeah.
Because right now the 5th trade is out.
Okay.
I've already checked it out on Hoopla. I've checked all these out on Hoopla, and I'm just crushing through them before I go to bed.
I have the first 3, so maybe I'll just grab the next 2. I got to check if the in-stock trades has sync. I got to sell some disc golf stuff. And because I want to do another in-stock trade.
I don't know if they did have sync.
I don't think they did.
I don't know if they have like that Comics Tribe stuff. I ended up getting mine off like Amazon. I think you can go to like comicstribe.com or whatever their website is and buy some of it.
Hey, Southern Comic Geek. How you doing? My last book of the week, which we can just get out of the way, was Bite-Sized, again by Cullen Bunn. Nelson Blake 2 and Snakebite Cortez, which is a dope name.
I think he was on
1 of 4.
The one about the Angels.
I don't know who it was that told me that this was going to be a like Chucky type horror book, but with like a techie, because it's Cullen Bunn, so everybody expects horror, and then it's got kind of this techie robot toy thing in the Christmas stocking. After issue 1, I would not call this a horror book at all.
Isn't it superhero stuff?
No, it is. So far, techie toy has escaped from government facility and landed in like people's house, and they think it's a Christmas. I don't want to talk too much about it, but yeah, I mean, like what you see on the cover. So it's not at all what I expected, but I also really enjoyed it. And I had my 3 boys read it tonight, and they mostly enjoyed it. One, Caleb, was like, I don't really know what's going on. But I was like, well, if you guys really like it, because I liked it, I'll pick up the other 3. And for the next 3 months when the other issues come out, I'll read it at work and come home and you guys can read it. So then they were all like, yeah. So it's cool that we're going to go through a book together. And we haven't really, I mean, we've kind of done that a little bit before, but not like this one I want like on Wednesday to come home and like it's new comic book. They don't get a new comic book day as of yet. So this is going to be, I think, their first like, oh awesome. Shit, it's that. Like it's the 3rd Wednesday of the month or whatever. It's bite-sized day. Yeah,
I ended up grabbing it and I
got halfway through and I'm like, this doesn't feel like horror. And then I checked, and I know we talked about last week with the other AWA book being all age. Yeah, it's not.
This one actually is. Yeah,
this one actually is all ages.
They had a preview for that, and but to be fair, they had a preview of that and Erratic in the
Erratic. That's the other one.
Erratic. Resistance Free Comic Book Day, and I didn't really like either of them, but I was like, if I told my shop to put every AWA book in my pull, so if they get these, I'll check them out. I really liked Erratic after the first issue. It's got some kind of like sideways-y vibes, I guess, like without really being like that, but like kind of like that, you know. It's a kid in school that
the
secret power.
Teen superpower stuff. Sure.
So I'm excited to check this one out, but cool. Like I said, I did not read it because
so Sam says he thought Bite Size was about a dog.
I also thought it was too.
There is a dog named Gizmo in this book who is adorable. So if you were hoping for cute dog comic, you still get that. It may not be the focus, but he's actually a pretty big central part of this story part, I guess. It's the same thing. Like my youngest Levi read it, and I was like, "What'd you think?" And he's like, "It was really short." And it's like, yeah, it's just because they usually get trades and stuff, or by the time they read stuff, you know, it's a finished arc or something, and I let them go through all 6 issues. So it's like this is also kind of the first time where it's like, well, I'll see you in 4 weeks, man, and you'll get a little bit more.
Enjoy the struggle that we have. Is Gizmo better than Pizza Dog? That's the hard-hitting question.
No, God, no. But look at how cute he is. You know, he's a cute little puppy. It isn't giving anything away, but there he is. But no, he's no Pizza Dog. I mean, everyone knows that one-eyed dogs are the best. So you can't beat that. But yeah,
Andy likes pizza, and everyone likes pizza.
Yeah, who doesn't like pizza? But yeah, all ages. Like I said, excited as a dad to share that a little bit. I feel like sometimes I'm a little bit overprotective of my comics, where there's something that like, although a lot of the stuff that I like is far more mature than what they should be reading also. But there's a lot of stuff that they probably could that maybe I like don't want them to bend the pages and stuff, you know, stupid shit like that. That I should just let them read it. So
they'll get there.
It's cool that like with something like this, it's not like bite-sized #1 is going to be a huge deal someday.
Who knows? It could be.
Maybe it will be.
We'll see. Maybe Gizmo becomes like the master of the resistance.
That's how it'll go for the next 2 decades. It'll be like whatever comics Nick shared with his kids will be huge because all my pages will be all sticky. So
yeah, I mean, I still have a lot of stuff that I need to read. For those,
what else you got?
Yeah, these are what I picked up that I did not read. I got this that apparently is going to move to the back of the stack. Bite-sized.
I liked it.
The black and white Batman.
I want to know what you think of black and white Batman, if I should buy it or just wait until I can read it on DCU.
Detective.
Okay.
Guardians of the Galaxy. Scarant Hood. That'll probably be the first thing I read. And The Flash, which I probably shouldn't have even gotten that book. Just because it's an endless winter tie-in, and like Andrew legitimately.
Oh, you're not pulling Flash. I thought you were pulling Flash.
I have been, but this is an endless winter tie-in, and I don't even think it has anything to do with the actual story. And then Andrew was like,
67, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's still technically in that, so it's like, well, fine, I'm pulling it.
Yeah.
I might as well just keep it for the run value. But Andrew was like, I mean, if you're not reading that, you probably don't need to read this, and we can take it off. Because I went in at like 1, so I was like the only person. I was just talking to Andrew about stuff for a random amount of time, and then Don came in. I was like, oh, I didn't even know you were here. Yeah, we were talking about like female-led Batman writers because there was something, I think somebody said that Marika Tamaki is like the first female to run consecutive things in one of the big 2 Batman books. And he came, and then Don was like, well, there was this girl, and I forget her name, and I'm sorry that I don't know it, that did Shadow of the Bat, apparently, which was another bigger Bat title for a while. But I think that they just meant those 2, so we will see. But Dan Mora is going to be the artist on that one, so.
That's Detective?
Yeah, for after Future State.
Yeah. Man, I don't know what to do about Future State. I still don't.
I went and put more titles of Future State on my pull list than I probably should have. But hey, maybe some of these characters will stick. And
I just don't know if they're going to stick with it or if they're going to just jump back and do their own thing and they're still going to. I don't know. There's a few that. I feel like I just saw a whole bunch of people on Facebook complaining about the Flash books because it's like the first non-binary Flash or maybe even superhero. I don't know if it's
was a Marvel one, but I don't know if that book got canned or not.
Okay. So either way, the first DC non-binary character, which I mean, that's cool. I don't know, like a superhero's sexual preference never has really mattered to me to begin with. So as long as the books and everything are cool and I like it, that kind of stuff definitely doesn't bother me in the slightest. And if it can add to something for other people, then that's even better. So seeing people complain about that stuff, kind of like the Wonder Woman 84 cover, makes me really want to buy and support it. It makes me want to buy like every cover. When there's people out there that are like, oh, this is just social justice warrior bullshit and we don't like this, it makes me really want to just buy them and support them. So that,
especially like with this, it's a new character too. So like it goes against the hate where people are like, well, then don't kill an old one, make a new one, and that's what they're doing. Yeah,
that's what people always say. Is they're always like, well, don't make him this, then make a new character, and then they're like, okay, well, here's a new character, here's a new Flash. That's a new, and then everybody wants to shit on it, and it's just like, Yes, Aaron. I'm sorry. I'm terrible with stuff like that. But yes, there you go.
And also,
my bad.
You want to? We both. Oh, sorry. I'm going back to go to the maybe Ari and Wink were non-binary. I don't know who those characters are, but you're probably right.
Sure. I'm the wrong guy. I'm definitely on all y'all's side when it comes to stuff like that. But as far as terminology and things, I'm very sadly ignorant a lot of the times. So sorry about that, but I love you guys. And I accept everybody for who they are. So that's cool.
You're a comic burrito. We all do.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
But also, like, guys, what were you reading this week? What did we miss? I know that this was kind of a wonky one, and we did it a little bit weirder. Yeah, I mean, there were books that I looked at that I didn't. I also was like, I definitely finish Venom, and I look at it, and it's like the Immortal Hulk, King of Black Titan was supposed to come out. So I'm like, what the heck? Then they ended up changing, or I ended up like emailing them or Facebook messaging them, and they're like, and then I was like, wait, I don't think that came out because like League of Comic Books. So I was like, JK, sorry about this weird Facebook message.
Yeah.
But yeah, let us know what you thought.
I don't know. I felt like the Homesick. You didn't get Homesick Pilots?
I didn't. I was thinking about it, but I ended up going with getting it together instead.
Oh man, Homesick Pilots to me seemed like that was like right up your alley.
Yeah, I know. Like some people were comparing it to like in the same sense of like knowing the band. I don't know. With like Terminal Punks, and I think that was it. Oh, and also another book that I definitely like. I thought that I grabbed, but apparently I didn't grab, was like Pantomime. So I'm probably going to go back and grab the second issue of that one.
Yeah.
When I grabbed that.
Sam said it was great. Aaron says that it was a banger. Stuff about bands tends to, I get lost on because I played like the trumpet in 5th grade because I had to. And other than that, I've never been in a band. I've had some friends and stuff who were in a band, and I've found overall that comics where it's like band centric, I don't identify enough with it to make it really worth it. Like I enjoy it just fine. It's not like I don't like it, but again, going back to like the whole cutting things down and putting the spending money smartly and stuff, it's not the stuff that I like enough. It's something that maybe like at the end, if people are like Homesick Pilots was amazing and stuff, I'll probably grab the trade, or maybe just grab it from the library or Hoopla and read it. But it's not stuff that I'm interested in pulling monthly.
Yeah.
Same with Giga. That was another one. Flash Ray says Giga 2 is pretty good. Giant Robots, even though Descender is one of my favorite comic books, Giant Robots is not typically one of my things. So,
well, yeah, I think, this has been. This Week in Comics. Todd P. Count 0. This Week in Comics. Awesome, sweet. Yeah, but leave some notes down and below. Let us know what you guys were reading, what we missed out on. And yeah, I loved it. That's the only reason I picked that book up, man. I'll show it again. Love it. Nah, you can't even see it, but you can kind of see it here. Yeah, I can't get enough about how great this book looks. I don't know.
But I almost grabbed it.
And that, like, too, it's not technically a virgin, but like, when you see like that, like, I don't know, when you're actually looking at it, it looks more like it. So
that's cool.
But yeah, this has been This Week in Comics.
This Week in Comics. Yeah.
I'm Cole.
And I'm Nick. And I'm Eric. Damn, I was gonna say that. I forgot.
And yeah, let's all wish that Todd gets better for Saturday. And cut.
We miss you, Todd. We'll see you later, Todd.
Yeah, we miss you.
Love
and
you,
cut.
Todd. And we love you.